Hello, 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 beautiful warriors. Hello, warriors. Just waiting for you all to join me now. Welcome to Transmission Thursdays. Transmission Thursdays today. Ooh. So when you join in, say hello. Let me know that you're here. Dumela, koketso, dumelang. One moment. I'm just sharing now as I wait for you guys to join in. Okay. Okay. Welcome everyone to Transmission Thursdays. Today we are here talking inorganic and organic manifestation. Yeah, I've been having a lot of conversations with my clients really in the last 2 months since December. This has been a conversation that I've been having and kind of helping people expand on understanding manifestation. What is inorganic manifestation and what is organic manifestation, and why it's important for us to align with organic manifestation. Because in the spiritual community, transformational personal development community, there is this kind of like excitement with manifestation or the law of attraction, and I see people just coming into this community with this idea that this is what will happen, this is the manifestation, and this is how manifestation happens, and then that's not what happens, and there's this frustration. So I've just been having a lot of just having to explain to people that's not a thing. That is not how it actually really works, right? So let me know, say hello when you join in, and do #replay if you're watching this as a replay. I'm just gonna share this, just basing it on my own experiences and what I have found, and also from research and the teachings I've received. I've worked on organic wealth creation. Particularly, I think that people get really confused with manifestation when it comes to things like money, when it comes to things like clients, if you are like a coach, right? So let me know how many people are coaches here, and if you kind of like struggle with building your business because of like not understanding how you are meant to manifest clients. I'm just also really not super excited anymore about the word manifestation because it has a lot of like distortions now in our community. But yes, so clients, money, and love. But particularly the clients and money conversation is just something we need to talk about as people who are in the transformational coaching, spiritual healing community, because there is something that is happening here that is very deeply disassociative for us. And also, one moment, yeah, close, yeah, so it's disassociative, but I am really bothered by how we don't have a lot of conversation about the resources we need as coaches or transformational leaders or healers or genetic path cutters, and how a lot of people sometimes do not want to come to this path or this community because of all these distortions and disassociativeness of like, I don't want to have a conversation about money. It's not important. When you're doing God's work, this is not something you need to be concerning yourself with. But like, there is truly organic manifestation and inorganic manifestation. So the first thing we need to understand, and I'm sure all of you understand this, is that there are universal laws, and we exist within a matrix that is abiding by these universal laws. Some people call them divine logos. I like this divine logos, but it's also really the same thing as universal laws. And there is the universal law of free will, that we have choice as co-creations of God. And there is the law of creation, that we are imbued, because we're created in the image of God, with the ability to create, and that we are actually creating our lives. And then there is the law of attraction, that when your frequency is vibrating at a certain level, that frequency will attract similar logos, similar things that are matching that frequency. So logos are things like peace, like abundance, like happiness, and these are things that were literally created by God, right? So if you are in a frequency of abundance, this is the teachings we have received, right? If you're in a frequency of abundance, you will attract abundance, right? This is a law. It's a true. We actually do that, right? The only problem is that in the last couple of years, in the last 20 years, there has been a surge of this information coming to the community through different books and like The Secret and so on, but they were not being explained properly. And so now people just think that they can just do affirmations and then vibrate at a certain frequency, and then they will get what they have asked for, because you have the free will to ask, you have the creation ability to create, you have the ability to attract in resonance to who you are, right? But that's not what we get. We don't even get that it's about who you are, right? So this is just the basics, and we will keep adding layers to it, right? But please feel free to ask me all your questions about manifestations, right? I would love to help you understand these questions now, right? So we got the ideologies from the New Age that if you affirm, if you journal in your books about what you want and so forth, you will increase your frequency, and then your frequency will be in resonance with those things you desire, and those things will show up in your life. Like I said, there is truth to that, but there is also falsehood in that as well, because people then just go and do affirmations and then they just think they will get that. Or this is what I'm finding in the African community, it's that, oh, I have to just use the law of ask and it is given, and that I will go ask my ancestors. I will ask my ancestors, and the ancestors will give it to me. Okay, yeah, so hopefully this will help you, right? So in the African community, there is the idea that if I ask my ancestors for what I desire, then they will provide it, right? And this is a conversation I've been having a lot with people. I'm like, but that's not actually how it works, right? People, we have this concept that our ancestors, our guides, are to give us that which we are asking for, or the universe is to give us that which we are asking for. And like I said, there's some truth to it, but there's other missing pieces, which is why for most people, we haven't yet manifested the lives we want. This is why majority of our world, we are still trying to manifest and nothing has happened. What is the missing thing? So the first missing thing is understanding what is organic and what is inorganic. What is organic is the thing that is natural. What is organic is the thing where you're not trying to manipulate the universe, your ancestors, God, source, reality. That is what is organic. You are in alignment with natural laws. You are also in alignment with divine will. You are also in alignment with your own higher mission. You're in alignment with your soul. You're in alignment with your ancestral mission. When you are in that organic manifestation, like timeline, manifestation just happens to you naturally. When we move to inorganic, it means there is some level of manipulation. What is manipulation? Manipulation is if I do affirmations, if I affirm that I am worthy of the car, I'm worthy of the car, the universe just has to provide the car. But sounds very like, okay, I do this, then you have to give me. That's the manipulation. The manipulation is this idea of if I do specific activities, then this will be the result, right? And the desire itself of that which you are trying to manifest is not actually coming from your heart, your soul. It's also not in alignment with what we call the law of one. The law of one is that we are interconnected, that the actions you take will affect other people. And that also we are all creations of God, and as creations of God, we are in many ways in service to each other. And so when you are in service to the other, the universe, it is programmed to support you because that is the natural ways that things are, which essentially means if you have a child and I come in and say I will take care of your child, you just naturally, you will feel compelled to compensate me for the time that I am taking care of your child. And that will be a natural manifestation of money for me as the person who's taking care of your child. I, as the caretaker of your child, I didn't have to sit and do affirmations. I just want 500 pula in my account. I didn't have to do that. All I had to do was to look into what am I gifted in. I'm really good with taking care of children. Okay, then I seek the opportunity to help someone who needs someone to take care of that child, and I align myself with that opportunity just by the pure intention that I really would like to support someone by taking care of the child, but also this is also in alignment with my gift and what I like doing. So this is what you are gifted with, are things that come from God, right? God gave you those gifts, so it's natural. And when someone is seeking support for that child, that's a natural request. Then you meet in frequency and resonance. And then there is that, I give the time, the caretaking, you give the money, and manifestation has happened, right? There is no need. I know in the past, I used to believe this as well. So I come here as someone who has been through the belief system that we actually have to write in our books all the time and do affirmations. I had a little bit of a period where I did that. And in the beginning of my spiritual business, I really thought it was really about like having spiritual rituals every morning, being centered, connecting, asking God, and you know, I went through that. And there is, like I said, there's truth to it. When you ask, it will be given. The only issue is that, is it coming in ways that are organic and natural and supportive for the whole, right? So this conversation is, hello everyone, thank you for joining. Yes, so there is like some kind of manipulation with the inorganic manifestation where you are requesting something for the benefit of the self, and it's often the self alone. When we think about like So there's a difference between saying, I would like to make 10,000 pula or 10,000 rands by end of this month, and I just want to attract 10,000 pula, 10,000 rands. It doesn't even matter to you how that 10,000 pula comes in. You just want the 10,000 pula to come, and you go do the affirmations and. So here you are not in alignment with, first of all, where is this 10,000 coming from? Who could be impacted by just this desire of the 10,000, just by its own self, in that simple vacuum? And is that in alignment with the divine will? Is that your path to have that 10,000 for the sake of having 10,000, or just to say, oh, I manifested 10,000, right? So this is me not saying that you can't have a desire for 10,000 pula. You can have a desire for that. But what I have found to be organic and natural is something like, I would like to have 10,000 pula to take my child to school, right? This is it's in alignment with, naturally my child needs to go to school. I require this money, and asking that. And then here is the part that is very, very important. The next part, when you do have a desire for that 10,000 pula, the ideology that you just sit and spirit, your ancestors, the universe will come and provide the 10,000. I don't know, most people just say this desire, like, I want this money. And it's like, but how do you expect this money to come? Because you are a third, currently, you are a multidimensional being who is existing in the third dimension. And this spaces we call God space or ancestral space or universal spaces, they are spaces that are beyond this realm. They are in the fourth dimension all the way to the 12 dimensions and above, and other dimensions we can't even comprehend, right? So how do you expect the things you can't see to create a physical money in your account? They can't, right? So the missing link for people is that in our inorganic manifestation, we're not looking at what is the aligned action you need to take. As in, money comes through service. Abundance comes through service of some kind. So if I'm requiring that 10,000 for my child to go to school, I would have to look at what service or products do I have that I can use or create or offer someone, and this person, as at its core, is gratitude for my product or gratitude for the time I took to help them with something. They will give me that 10,000. You know, that is what organic manifestation is. It's the exchange of energy, the exchange of services, and this is a balanced exchange, right? So I had a lot of people who shared that they would like their ancestors to support them with their coaching business or their spiritual business, or that they have asked their ancestors to support them, but their ancestors haven't done anything. And the first question I ask, even the guys, they ask, how do you expect us to actually do this? Like, what is the process in the mind when you imagine it? Right? It is exactly like thinking that it will fall from the sky, or the ancestors will manifest the bag of money at the corner of your room. First of all, if they did that, you will freak out. But also, if they did that, your ancestors would be going against the natural law, because there is a natural law which is called the Prime Directive. The Prime Directive states that no beings, non-physical or physical, can interfere with the natural path of civilizations, meaning that even our ancestors cannot come and try to save us. That is not allowed. It's the law of God. It's also kind of the reason why God hasn't fixed planet Earth, if we've ever wondered. Because as the image, as the fractal of God, we were imbued with creation powers. We were given the power of creation. And God ancestors, they have to trust you. That trust they give you is that you will figure out how to utilize the universal laws and how to do them in an organic way. There is no manipulation. There is no saving here. There is no saving that is allowed, right? And there is, I lost track of my mind, my thought. So there is no saving. I don't know what the thought was, but it was so great. It will come back to me. Let me drink my water. So what are the questions that are coming up for you? What questions do you have about manifestation? For those who have like entrepreneurial services, whether that's a spiritual or coaching, transformational, let me know what you are currently struggling with in terms of like client, money, and love. I would like to help you with that. Yeah. Because I've been doing this since 2018, so this is my 4th year as a full-time healer. And I went through moments. The first year I really thought, if you have the desire for something and God knows this, then clearly support just needs to come. But what I realized is that this law of frequency is important, and resonance. The law that when you are vibrating at a certain frequency, you will naturally, organically call in specific experiences, right? So if you're vibrating in abundance, you will attract abundance. This is very important, and it's the missing link. So when I was in 2018, my frequency as a new coach, new healer, my frequency, I did not know it, but it was really low. As a new coach, I had imposter syndrome. I didn't feel like I was qualified. I didn't feel like I was worthy to be paid the amount of money I knew I wanted and desired and needed at the time. I also didn't think that people needed my services. So there was a lot of low self-worth and not being good enough. And also a crippling fear of being seen for who I really am, my true intelligence, my true divine genius, and my offerings. And in 2018, when I started, you guys, for those who don't know, I started off offering creative support. And that was because before that, I was a creative and I was quite successful in my literary journey. You know, as a literary curator and editor, I had found a niche and I was really good at it. And so I had this idea that for me to be successful at my work, I will have to continue doing what I did before and also do something that I have a track record for. Even though I was really qualified to actually be a psycho-spiritual healer because my background is psychology, but my self-view was very distorted. And because it was distorted, even when I was charging the lowest rates, I didn't get clients. And I did the manifestations. I will write and try to manifest clients, and it never happened. Because you see, the frequency thing has nothing to do with what you are mentally doing, but a state of being, who you are, who you believe yourself to be, how you move in the world, right? So back in 2018, I really moved in the world as someone who felt like she had to hide who she is. I never even in my head thought one day I could talk about the things I talk about life now. I didn't think that is possible. First of all, I didn't even think that there was a world where people were interested in that. So I had a very limited perception of reality and a limited perception of myself. And somehow my frequency then, because it was a certain level, it could not be meshed. But more than anything, I started to realize also, I wasn't in my highest mission. I was in a mission that I thought I needed to be in to create wealth. And I hear this a lot where people create offers because they think, oh, someone will buy it. It's kind of like where the idea of pyramid schemes comes from, where, oh, okay, someone has been able to sell this product. If I sell it as well, I will be successful. This is discounting that some people are naturally good at marketing, some people are good at sales, and that might not be your divine gift, right? And so a lot of us, we choose the path of creation where we're gonna create our wealth, our love, just based on other people, and nothing to do with looking internally into the self and knowing who you are and discovering what your gifts are and offering from that level. And because when you offer that level, you see, you align with what God has planned for you. Because what God has planned for you is through the gifts that you were given by God and the ancestral line you are in, and your mind, all these things, they account. There is nothing about you that is wrong. Everything about you is perfect for the exact divine path that you are put in this world for. But if you're sitting right now doubting that, if you're sitting right now thinking it has to look a certain way, it has to look like Joyce, it has to look like someone else's, you are getting out of divine will. That is not your divine will. Every one of us, there is a will that is put in for our soul. And it is through us questioning it, doubting it, downplaying it. There's a lot of downplaying that I do see in the spiritual community, where people downplay their gifts, downplay what they're able to do, particularly women. And then we just see ourselves stuck and we're not creating wealth. You're not meant to create wealth. Wealth just actually naturally in resonance when you align with your true self and your true zenith, your true gifts, it will come. It is that your ancestors, your guides, they are actually here to support you with your highest mission. And so sometimes when it feels like you've been asking your guides for something, it's because you are not in the organic timeline of your highest mission. You are still in an illusory mission. You're still afraid of doing your real gift, your real mission, where you're utilizing your real gifts, right? So then your guides, your higher self, it cannot support something that it knows is false. It knows it's inorganic. It knows that's not you. And the thing is, most of us, we know this. Like, I knew in 2018 that was not what I wanted to do. And it took a session where I had with a client. And with this client in all the sessions, we kept reverting to spirituality, and I would teach her about spirituality, even though we're supposed to do work related to her writing career. And one day she looked at me and she's like, "Yo, Joy, you just turn like you're activated whenever you speak about this." And I was like, yes, I am. This is so natural for me. This is where I thrive. This is what I've been trained in. Like, I literally have training in the healing arts. I have a degree in this. Of course, this is where I'm good at. Like, this is what I'm good with. So 2018 ended, a year in, and I collapsed my business and started afresh. And I had to work into what was my core energy, which is what was holding the frequency. I had to look into my wounds that were making me feel like I'm not good enough, that I have imposter syndrome, that made me feel like I'm not qualified, that made me feel like no one will be interested in this, no one will like this, Joy, because underneath it was like no one likes you. And yeah, so also the fear of being seen for who I am, like that was a big one. The vow of invisibility was so huge. And when I started to heal this, I swear to you, I didn't even have to do anything. Clients started to just come because I got real with myself. And I realized at the core, this spiritual path is about finding the true self. And so if you are a transformational leader, healer, coach, your path is to find your true self, because the only way you can support others in that path of finding that true self is through you doing it first with yourself. And this is why coaching, healing, if you have a spiritual business, a conscious business, an artistic business, it's an initiation. You will be initiated because you have to face your fear of rejection, your fear of abandonment, the idea that people are laughing at you, they're looking at you, they think you're crazy. You're going to have to face that. And each time you face that, the false self dies until you get to a point where you will stop caring about human thoughts, ideas, and you begin to become spiritualized, where you now work truly for God and you work for the divine, and you are in devotion to your gifts. You are in devotion to what you know you are here to do. And of course, as you go along, you keep discovering new things about this gift. But the path of surrendering to your true mission and surrendering to the divine, when you do that, you align with the divine will. And when you're aligned with the divine will, your higher self, the ancestors, your guides, God, Holy Mother, Holy Father, all the beings, benevolent beings of light, will support you through allowing and bringing in resources for you where you don't even have to ask. It is already done. That is organic manifestation, where the clients, they just bring themselves, because when you're in this work of spirituality and consciousness, you're working with people's souls, and it is people's souls that lead them to you. So if it's people's souls that come to you, that choose you as their healer, as their guide, why would you try to even manipulate it? Try to just get any client, you know? Like, now we're getting inorganic. When we're inorganic, the desire becomes, God, I am ready to be in service to your children. I'm ready for the souls that are ready to do this work. God, I have been initiated by you to offer this particular program or this particular one-on-one service. And I just ask you to support me. I ask you to give me the opportunity to learn. I ask you to invite in those souls, for the souls that are ready to come and work with me, so we can literally bring your glory to the world. That becomes the prayer. That becomes, ancestors, I am here and I want to work with this and this and this. Help me heal what needs to heal in our ancestral line. Support me, do your whatever role the ancestors have in terms of aligning your ancestors and someone else's ancestors, so you work together. You know, become a representative in the spirit for me, so I work with people who are ready to work with me at this particular level that I'm currently at. This is good when you do this, because now we're not just working with people just for the sake of having clients, you know. You work with people who you can actually help and support, and they can receive what they need. Yeah. Yes, okay. So that is what organic manifestation is. Organic manifestation is, it comes through the higher mission, and also you will be supported, you know. You don't even have to do all those activities. So before I come to your questions, I do want to say this is in no way an encouragement for you to not do your wealth work or your money work. This is not an encouragement for a lot of spiritual people being comfortable with not having money. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that when you do your higher mission, you will be supported, and you can ask for that support, right? And it will be given to you. Another issue is that people don't ask for support. You need to ask for support, specifically ask for the support you need, because you are the human in this vessel. You have responsibilities in this 3D dimensional world, right? So you can ask for the support that you need, whether in clients, in money, and in love, or whatever support you need. You can ask for that. I say this because besides the inorganic manifestations where people are going into the law of attraction, there is another thing where I see a lot of people in this community who have completely let go of that core creation and the ability to ask for support, and they just are okay with like they're not okay, but they just are on survival mode. And I want to speak about that, particularly for the African community, that the reason why that is not an organic thing to just be okay with suffering is because that is not God's plan. God does not want us to suffer. God's divine will is not your suffering. God's divine will is for you to align with God and hear the message and hear the assignment and go do the assignment and know that you are worthy to be supported in that, right? So if you have the idea that, I'm okay with just charging 100 rands for my services because you think that's godly, that's a false idea. And that's a false idea that was created to keep the Black community in scarcity consciousness, in slavery consciousness, where we don't have enough resources. And to this day, we still don't have our lands that were taken from us because we don't have the resources, the ability to go fight for what is ours, right? So as we are doing this, may we not forget that we're still human and we still have reparation we have to do in the physical as we're doing it energetically, right? So this means money is a creation, yes, that is for the 3D, but as we are currently here, we are to use it to support the energetic, spiritual, physical reparation of Black communities, of all human souls. That is still our job, and that includes you having to do your money work and having to realize when you don't have money, the truth is you're not able to move things in the world. You are too hungry to even do your mission. You're too overwhelmed. You're too anxious, right? So this is not for us to go and collapse and say, oh, Joy said if I sit here, the money is going to come. No, you have to go do your higher mission, and you have to look at your frequency and do the healing that needs to happen in there. And also know that we need, all of us, those who are in the transformational spiritual conscious community, to actually get rich. We need to get rich and go buy our land back, go build our healing centers, literally help our people, because we can't wait for the government. It's not doing anything about our mental well-being of people. It's not. So we are the advocate. We are the ambassadors of light. And that is not a spiritual work only. It's also physical. Yeah, so I also wanted to address this because I know people then feel like, oh, I'm in divine will. Joy said it's right. No. Yeah. Okay, so I am done. Let's hear the questions or any comments that you have. Let me know what is speaking to you, if you have any questions as well, or anything you need clarity with. Yes. So Nonisi, you're asking, you are struggling with developing a message that is clear enough to resonate with those who need my coaching service. I would like you to shift away from other people and what you think they need, and tend to you, and tend to your intelligence, your inner spirit, and ask your spirit, what is the offering that I can provide for the children of God? And share that offering. The idea that I have to do it in ways that it resonate with people. There's also, I know it's a teaching we receive in the coaching business community, but for most people, it really can collapse you, because you are being forced to try to fit yourself to people. And I understand where this comes from, but I will focus more on, what am I really good at? What am I currently qualified to provide that I can confidently do? What do I know to be true as like an impactful offering that I can give people? And that's what you share. There is no need for you to change yourself, short circuit yourself for people. When you do that, you are coming out of resonance with your frequency. Like it's not true. It's not in alignment with what is naturally you. What is your mesh? You don't need to develop a message. I know, I've been there. I've had this before. You just need to truly learn to come to your inner higher self and allow the inner higher self to be the messenger. You see, if you're a coach, transformational leader, spiritual person, you are likely really gifted in sharing your message. It kind of comes with the territory. The task is to trust your inner messenger. She or he is there, right? So if we try to all write and develop a message in a certain way, we are losing the inner messenger, which is where your gift comes from. So allow yourself. In the past, I used to like meditate, and after I finish meditating and I'm centered, that's when I will write a message and it will just come through me. So for example, today I didn't practice for what I'm going to talk about, but I had a topic. This topic also came through, yes, in resonance with everyone in my community, but even my spirit was like, I need to talk about this, you know. So there is no need to constantly take yourself out of your business and base it on the external. Resonance, because you talk about like where people will resonate with my coaching business. Resonance actually has nothing to do with the message. I've had people who said, oh, I watched just your one video and then I just resonated with you. They didn't have to read all my messages to know that they would like to work with me, right? So resonance is nothing physical. It's a frequency, it's a vibration. You just like someone, and yes, they can be, oh, that person, like all of you come to my space because you know I'm a spiritual healer, right? You resonate with the spirituality of my work. But what makes you keep coming back, because there's so many spiritual healers you could be watching right now, it's something beyond you. Can you explain why you're here today? Right? Like there's so many spiritual, why are you listening to Joy in particular? There's a level of it where there is some divine will that pushed you here that you can't conceptualize, right? So this means you can't even worry about convincing people to resonate with your message. They just do. It's out of your control. That's God's thing. That's God and their soul. All you can do is be your true self, right? So go be your true self. Okay. Yes. Thank you, beloved. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so you are in initiation. You are being initiated. Everyone who is a new coach here, or you are at the first year of your coach, I want to say this to you. A lot of what's going to happen to you in your business is not a one singular reason thing. When you're not getting your client, when you're not getting the money, it is not you. There are so many things you unfortunately have to drop when you begin a spiritual, conscious, transformational leadership business. There is a lot of your old self that has to die by being in the process itself. And so trust in that dying of the self, and don't put yourself under pressure to perform a certain way by this time. I want to tell you guys, people don't know this. I got my first client who was paying me 600 pula for a 6 weeks program. This is like almost like 800 rands for 6 weeks. I got that client 7 months after I started my services. I was posting every day. People were not responding. And at first I thought it was about me until I went deeper and I realized, whoa, I have to deal with all these personal ideas I have about myself first. My vows of invisibility and not being good enough and not being qualified. I battled with them on a daily basis. The same. Then as I went deeper, I realized, wow, I have also vows from my ancestors that I am having. And really, the path where my business was at the beginning, and it got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm actually in a business. It was an 18 months journey. 18 months. I say this because I've had to have conversations with some of the healers I've mentored on their spiritual businesses, where they think it's them. It's not you. There are so many forces you have to battle, so many initiations you have to go through. So I really want you, like, if you could take something, is to trust this path and to not put any high expectation on yourself or on the universe or even your ancestors or your guides, and just feel like, why have they abandoned me? They have not. The whole purpose of you being in your service business, it is so you align with your true self. It's not about the money. It's not even about the clients. It's for you to align with your true divine self so you can do your highest mission. And that's a journey. All right. Yes. So I just want you to loosen the pressure on yourself. So when you, like Connie is mentioning that she finds clients who are inquiring about the service but they're not taking up offerings, that's because there is still some work you might be moving through, some energies you're moving through, some frequencies that you need to deal with internally, right? And that's always around something like not being good enough, around not feeling safe to be seen, around not being worthy or qualified, and so on. And then beyond these personal thoughts and beliefs, there is also the ancestral miasma, which I spoke about last week, that you might have to work with and work on, right? What I could tell you is that the more you heal these kind of like personal beliefs about yourself, and then you even go into the ancestral, the more you get better. But for everyone who's here, if you are to do one thing, what will I recommend you do? I will recommend you to do your masculine father wound work, because business, money is about the masculine. And a lot of us, if we're females, we have a very wounded relationship with the masculine, with men, with money, with God. This is true. So that is also a work you might want to look into. I swear to you, when I was working with my money coach, 6 months, all of that time, I realized that was all about the father. What shook me, right? So there is something about, I'll teach this one day, but the masculine is the source of the physical. You know, the Holy Father is the architect of the physical, while the Holy Mother is the spiritual architect, meaning the divine feminine is naturally attuned to spiritual things, while the masculine is attuned to physical things. So if you're a female, you are kind of having to do something that is not naturally in alignment with your energy as a feminine. So you have to look at this relationship with the masculine. It will blow your mind. Yeah. So please look on that. Yeah. Okay, so hello. Refilo, you found this live stream. That's good. So you're talking about my only frustration is where I'm told to not concentrate on money as the spiritual healer, but just accept that I can be a healer and be poor. Oh no. I lost almost everything, and I was told my ancestors needed me to honor my calling. Then when I ask about money that I lost in my current status, that is still not changing, or me fully recovering financially, even after I accepted the calling, though I'm still on the journey, I have an issue with being told to accept. That is a program, like I mentioned, this is a huge program that has been particularly pushed on the Black consciousness. And as Black people, we were made to feel that we will experience abundance in heaven when we have ascended. But the truth is, this is not God's desire for us. God does not desire, especially because the Black community, the Black race, is the original earth keepers. We are literally the original race, you know? So this earth, we're meant There is so much abundance in it. Even in our own countries, there is abundance in it. Why will God not want you to experience this abundance? This is just, like I said, it's called scarcity consciousness. It's also slavery consciousness, where we're being kept in a slavery mindset, where we feel like we have to work, and then someday the master. And in this thought, we're thinking the master is the ancestors, and that one day, that's when they will they will give me after I have proven myself. This is what is true for me and what I've experienced with my own ancestral guides. They don't need anything from me. They don't require that I fulfill my mission. They don't require anything from me, because my ancestral guides are my support team. They're here to support my mission. That's what they were commissioned for by God, right? For me in my path, God is the ultimate. I am doing the work of God. My ancestors are just a support for that, and a guide. That guides, they can guide me, and they can also help me heal. They don't require me to be poor. They don't require me. They don't ever punish me. That is not my ancestors, and that is what I believe to be true for everyone. Yeah, but we're gonna actually go deep into ancestors, what ancestry is, in my upcoming masterclass series. It's a free program I'm gifting you all. It's happening in February. I shared about it yesterday or 2 days back, and this will be on Zoom, and I have only 100 spaces for it. And so far, almost 25 people have registered. So if you would like to come, please go register, because once it's 100, I won't be able to, you won't be able to join. So I don't know how many people will join, but if you are interested, this free program, we're gonna go deep into these conversations of ancestry and your medicine and your mission and so forth. So it's free, it's on Zoom, it's gonna be good. I would like to break down what ancestors are, because I see many people have distortions about this. But I will tell you that your ancestors want you to heal. This is true, they do. They want you to heal, but they don't take anything from you. Your ancestors are here to support you, and for all the experiences that you've been through, there's no one simple answer. There's no one simple answer, as a lot of healers like to say, oh, your ancestors are angry. No, there are often many reasons why you might be going through something, right? This is why I will encourage us to move beyond the one-dimensional. This is why I speak about multidimensional, because multidimensional means there are multiple dimensions to a lot of our experiences. So they could be the dimension of ancestors, of your mission, of God, of something else. This is why expand your idea of what your ancestors are. Come and expand that with me at the Cosmic Alchemy. Yeah, it's free. And there's limited seats, yes. Oh, hello, Josero. So good to see you, beloved. Yes. Yes. Jose was talking about, like, your purpose is not in this life, does not cater for everything because they want it and someone else has it. Yeah, we all have our different individual unique purposes, and this is why you should move away from looking outwards and come here in the heart. That's where your answers are. Yeah. Yes, truly. I want to say, when you're connected to God and you begin to hear God's voice, which, by the way, any one of us can, it's not a special thing for special people, you will begin to understand your journey. And even when you're going through what appears to you as lack, you will understand why you are there, and that is what will bring you inner peace, and that is what will actually return the natural powers that God gave you as a co-creator, right? Ultimately, God is the creator, but we have been given some human powers to create in our lives, and we keep abandoning these powers because we are told many misaligned information and inorganic information that gets us really lost, but your purpose has a particular blueprint that it's meant to take, and it's important to look at your own personal blueprint and stop looking at other people's blueprints. Yeah. I want to say something about the word sin, because Rufino is talking about how a lot of healers are saying that when you love wealth and money, that's a sin. I think we can think of sin as, from how I've understood it, is separation from God. When you are separate from God, you feel separate from God. You forget yourself, you forget God, you forget your values. Then that's what we mean. I am in sin. I am disconnected right now from what I know to be the true spirit, right? So when they talk about loving wealth and money is a separation of God, they mean if you now love wealth and money for the sake of loving wealth and money and from a self-centered perspective, but the natural creation of wealth in our life is not a separation from God, because God is a creator, right? So creating wealth is not unlike God. It is godly. It's God. The only issue that we will have to face is it in service to others? Is it in alignment with your higher mission, your higher power? Is it divine will, right? That's where this conversation is coming from. Yes. Okay. Thank you, beloveds. Okay, so Akona is talking about how when you don't get the response you need, especially from your clients, you discard and you give up and you look for something else. So that means you're discarding your mission. That's kind of like you're separating from yourself, because your service is yourself. And this is the other thing, this idea that your mission is something outside you. It's literally you. It's how you move in the world. It's what you are imbued with. It's the spirit that moves through you, right? So when you abandon your business, you're really abandoning you, a part of you, right? This is why we do spiritual businesses. My teacher was saying, Joy, you don't even have to call it a spiritual business. It's a service to God, So if it's a service to God, it shouldn't matter what humans are, how they're reacting to it, because you are committed to the service that you're doing to the divine, right? If people sign up or not, you continue, because it's not about them. It's not about the signing up. It's not about the money that comes. But if you continue with it, if it's in your highest mission and highest alignment and divine will, it is literally impossible for people to never sign up. That will not work. People eventually sign up if you keep going, if you keep committing and being devoted to your service, which has nothing to do with people, but everything to do with the call that your soul has called you to do. Eventually, there will be a resonance, a frequency resonance, and someone will come and they will hear you and they will work with you, right? So that's this whole idea of don't give up. It comes from really not so much about humans, but more of, if it's your calling, God will support you, and God eventually will support you with the resources you need, which will look like clients coming so that you have the money to pay for your human services. Yes. Okay. So keep going, keep trusting your higher mission. I'm not saying that this is easy. Like I mentioned, for me to get to a state of like some kind of balance was 18 months. it took me that long, and in that 18 months I had to hire a healer to help me heal the money issues I did not even know I had before I started this work. I had to hire someone to understand myself better and to understand what was happening in my energy, right? That's where getting guidance comes from. And in my job, I've been doing, like I mentioned, this is my 4th year. I've worked with so many healers to help me get clarity on even this mission. Even when I talk about the higher mission, no one comes knowing the higher mission like 100%. You have little packages of it, and you keep, like it's a map, you keep going through and understanding one part and so on. And sometimes it's through working with other people that you get the next part and the next part. I mean, at the COVID, there is some kind of, like, when you do arrive to what you might call your higher mission, there won't be anything absolutely shocking about it. It will still be like, I've always been this. It's more of, I've just never knew that I could be this. And that also, I might have forgotten this version of myself. This version of myself was buried with people's thoughts, people's ideas, people's expectations of me. And you have to break these people's voices and so on, to find your own authentic self, right? That's the help, like, that you are getting. The guidance from people is to essentially remove all this miasma that is yours, that is ancestral, that is collective, the collective human race. And then you will find that essence that was always there, that has never been damaged by anything that you've ever went through, but that you might have forgotten because you are looking outside. It's not outside, it's here, it's in the heart. Yeah. Okay, so that is it on organic and inorganic manifestation. I hope that this was helpful. I would love to know what was an aha moment for you. My clients know that I like to ask this question all the time, just because I am a student and I always want to learn what is helpful. And it's nothing, yeah, it's just something I enjoy. So let me know. And so the free program is happening February the 2nd. It's called Cosmic Alchemy. Alchemy is like medicine, this transformation that we have to move through as genetic path cutters. And that transformation is on expanding our understanding of ancestry, what our ancestry is. First of all, just the philosophy of ancestry, why that matters to us right now, and also ancestry for us as Africans, as Black people, and a little bit of the ancestry of the human race. There will be a little bit of that. And we will also look into medicine, because a lot of people have confusion around how that meant to be spiritual healers. Like, we all have a template in our mind that this is what a medicine woman looks like, and sometimes that is inorganic to you and inorganic to your ancestry. It's not the natural way your medicine is meant to come out, right? So we're just gonna align with that and understand what the medicine codes you are holding and what that even means, because we are all needed in the different offerings, in the different medicine, as the ambassadors of light, as the ground crew. We are all needed, and all medicine is important in its different diversity, right? So we're going to look into that conversation of how you are currently seeing your own medicine and how it's coming out, and what it's asking of you in terms of how to develop that medicine. And then the last part of the series will be on the mission. You beloveds know that I talk a lot about the mission. It's part of my medicine code, is actually helping people understand the higher mission. So we're gonna really look into what does it mean to have a mission, especially right now with what's happening in our world, and just the kind of recalibration and initiation you are going to go through in your mission path. It's a long initiation path, but as you become and surrender and devote yourself to the service, to the law of oneness, of our interconnectedness, in devotion to the highest creator, our prime source God, when you do that, it becomes less painful. I don't think it ever stops being painful, because we have our human mind and human ego to deal with, which we will probably always have. But it really, once you get some clarities on things, it becomes less painful. So please come, sign up. Like I mentioned, there's limited spots for it. So if you would like to come, it will be on Zoom. Sign up for it in the link. I will share the link also in this video once I complete. And then for those who would like to go deeper into this work, I have my paid paid program, Healing with the Divine Grandmothers. And Healing with the Divine Grandmothers is happening by mid-February, and it's a 3 months offering. We are going to be doing 12 modules. It's a healing, ancestral healing program. So we're gonna be really healing. The expectation to have is to have a deeper understanding of the ancestors, and a deeper healing of your ancestral miasma, which I spoke about last week. That different miasma I'm interested in working with those who consider themselves genetic path cutters that keep coming up. And of course, there's a lot of work around your mission and understanding what your mission is. So it's a healing program. It's not an initiation, it's a healing program. Okay? So also check that out. Once again, I work with small groups of people, so between 7 and 10 for this program. So if it really aligns and your spirit is like feeling called to it, you can go check it out and fill up the form for it. And everyone who is interested, it's not like you're signing up when you sign up forever, but we will have, I've started having just like conversations with those who have signed up, so that you can see if it still aligns. Okay, so I am all about resonance and alignment, so please do this if it resonates with you. Okay, so thank you, beloveds. I will see you next week for Transmission Thursdays, and in the next coming days, weeks, we will do the programs and so forth. Okay, bye bye.